artist Polygon Studio. It's a Mario game, but it's probably one of the most obscure ones you could pick for a speedrun. I doubt many people are familiar with it. So actually to start off the run, I have to reset all the data on the disk because there's no file select or anything like that. And the only way to do that is to boot up the game while holding a button combination L, D-pad down plus B. And that took me a long time to figure out.
A lot obscure.
So I will do a countdown, and for the moment I erase the data, that will be when I'll start the run. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this to explain this game a little bit, it feels a bit like a tech demo they made. Actually, I think the purpose is that you make polygon models. You can make. There's a lot of tools in the game for that to really make all the shapes you want. And then there's you can color them. You can make Mario. You can make whatever you want to make. And then there's mini games, and there's this, and this is what I'm running. This is the test world, the chicken world. And it's sort of, you can test out whatever model you made and put a lot of parts on it. And they actually made the chicken world sort of as an explorative world where you can go around and you can collect different parts to put on your whatever you made. And the more parts you collect, the more abilities you get. So right now I took the default machine, which is just a little car with some wheels on it, which is going very, very slowly through the world, as you can see. The pace of this game will pick up really fast. So I'm collecting some basic parts in the beginning that I have to, such as there's some chicken feet floating. You could put those chicken feet actually on your car, and you can, with the chicken feet, you can walk up some steep slopes, because it will give you some grip. Because right now I'm on a little bit of ice slide, and for the parts I have now, I have like zero control of what's going on. I try to steer it a little bit. But I need to go here because there's, as you can see, that pink dot in the distance. That's a wheel, a better wheel than what I have now. When I got that, I can go a lot faster. And then you can go and edit it onto your machine. So why I erase the data is when you collect those parts, you keep them until you erase everything. So the only way to make this game runnable is just to erase all the data all the time. Alright, so in this run, of course, I'm not gonna care whatsoever about what it looks like, what I'm using. And right now, I'm just take one wheel. That's enough. Because there's actually in the car editor, you can make a lot of different. You can edit everything, including the position of all the parts you put onto it, and it really matters where you put the parts. Such as when you get a propeller. If you put the propeller on top of it, blowing down, you won't get any height. So if you put the wheels and you make it like you make the weight really imbalanced, then it becomes impossible to steer. Right now I'm steering really sharply because it's just one wheel. So it's a bit silly, but the purpose of this run is to collect all the parts in this chicken world. And at the end, that will be a super powerful rocket engine. So you actually have to go up this steep slope. You can only get onto it on the very end of it because the previous part is too steep. And there's just like a little bit like Mario 64. You have like these paintings on the wall, which are Japanese signs, or sometimes it's a map. And this will take me to inside the building. And here you can see there's a feather there, that's a boost. I took one before. I didn't make it, too bad. There's actually some tank tracks on top of that stone, and those will give me a lot of grip and a lot of speed when I got that. Got it. Alright, there's an engine there, so this is really a good area to go to as fast as possible, because that engine will speed up the movement as well. This frog will launch me into the air. I got the engine. Alright, now I don't need that wheel anymore. And but I do have to take a little bit of time now to set it up correctly, because I'll be using those tank tracks for the rest of the run. I need 2, and then I need my engine. Here it is. Alright, now I change the camera a little bit, and I can move the parts around. So I try to put it in the middle to keep it balanced, keep the weight balanced, because it will give me a lot of problems later on. If it's not balanced correctly, it will start leaning to a side, and it makes steering really a hassle. Alright, this needs to go up too, because if it's too far down, it will start dragging on the ground and slow me down. Alright, so there's a lot of people coming in here. Alright, so now we got this, we can go quite a bit faster, and I can go up this steep hill, steep mountain. And into the snow and ice. You can see this bluish ice on the right side of the screen. I cannot drive on that yet. That's too slippery. Alright, so you can actually, at this point in the game, very early on, you can already make it on top of the mountain. But the only way to do that is to take these boosts and launch yourself across the patches of ice, because that ice is impossible to navigate on, and if you lose track, then you slide all the way back down, which wastes a lot of time. Alright. Almost there, and on top of the mountain there's a warp point which I can activate, and then from the lobby, sort of like the castle lobby in Mario 64, I can go there anytime I want. So there it is. You can see it's like a map of the lobby. Alright. But I do need to go up here, so going back. It's left. Yeah, so this is the hardest part of the run immediately coming up. This is a big ice slide, and there's a propeller you can get here. And when you have the propeller, you can actually fly around, and that really speeds up the game. But to get that propeller at this point is very tough, because I can barely steer on this ice. I'm really at the mercy of physics here. And you can get it in one try, which I've done only once, but there's a backup if I can make it. No, I already didn't make it, because you have to get all those boosts and launch yourself across a bunch of platforms. It's really almost impossible. So you cannot correct it. If you have the wrong angle just a little bit, you're screwed. But you can get some little wings on this thing. Yes, got them. This game is crazy, as you can see. So when I put the wings on, I can actually steer a little bit on the ice, and that makes it a whole lot easier to get that propeller. But the wings are not powerful enough to just fly around, but I can float a little bit, so I can also maneuver a little bit in the air. Alright, so now I can immediately go on top of this mountain. So this warp is very useful to activate. Oh, wrong again. So it depends on what angle you enter the warp and what angle you come out. So it can be confusing sometimes. Alright, so I can steer a little bit, hopefully make it. still not easy though. Oh no. Denied. I have to try it again. But I get warped back on top of this slide when I get all the way down. So it doesn't wait that much time. So I said this was the hardest part of the run and I wasn't kidding. It's really a challenge. For the fastest time you would really need to get the propeller like in one go. It's really tough. You can jump a little bit too. Yeah, I made it. Oh no. Yeah, I made it. There's the propeller. Yeah, so with those wings it gets a whole lot easier because otherwise you have to get all the boosts in. Alright, got the propeller. Now this game really picks up the pace. You can throw away the wings. Alright. I have to actually select the wings to throw it away. Alright, now I want to put the propeller on. I'm gonna put two propellers on. And I put one behind it and one under the car. Alright, this is good angle. Now flip it around. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one I meant. Put it like this, so it's blowing up. Then I put it in the middle. And like this, I can fly up and forward pretty fast. Alright, so now I can fly. But the first thing I'm gonna do is pick up a better propeller so I can fly faster. And that propeller is over there. You can see some kind of worm thing in the air flying around. That's actually an enemy, so there are enemies in this game. And when that worm gets you, it eats parts away. So you really want to avoid that as much as possible. But this is a better propeller, so I can go a lot faster. Change the propeller. And with that propeller, I'm gonna get the rocket engine and then it speeds up again. Same ID, change it around. Alright, so you can see it already speeds up the driving as well. Alright. So under that platform in the distance there's actually a rocket engine, and the only way to get that is with this propeller. So this is a part of the run where I'm changing parts really quite a lot. So the idea is to get all the parts, is to get the fastest method of movement as fast as possible. So I can just fly around my rocket engine and collect everything that's on the ground. Here's the rocket. And it needs two rockets. This also really matters where you position those rockets. If they're too low, then they will drag across the ground and make driving impossible. Alright, need to point it upwards. I need to make it a little bit higher and to the right. Alright, now I'm going really fast. So fast that I can just go to the sky. And there's actually a sky world in this game that you can only access with the rocket engine. So at this point in the run, transformations become important. You can transform to a flying mode, driving mode, submarine mode, and the king, which is the crown symbol on the top right, that's basically everything enabled at once. But that can really mess up some functions. So at this point, it's just being in flying mode really pays off. As you can already see up there, there's actually a world, and I can reach that barely with this rocket. But there's a faster rocket too, which I'm gonna get first. Yeah, so I need to make it up on that platform over there, which you can just barely make. Oh, I made it. Just barely. Alright, so there's a warp point up here too, so I'm gonna activate first, and I'm gonna go in the other warp to get to a little section that has the fastest rocket engine, and at that point I'll have the fastest engine in the game. Oh, there it is. It can be really confusing what angle you get put back when you enter those warps. Alright. I'm actually going to stay in driving mode, because at this point I'm so high up that the rocket doesn't work anymore. The only way to fly up here is to get the fastest rocket. And that's over there. And now I can go really fast, and I'm going on a big collection spree where I just go around and collect all the parts I could find. Alright. Yeah, so it really matters how you position those things. Let's hope this is fine. I'm going so fast, in fact, that it gets really hard to control at this point. So now I'm like going to collect some of the easy lag parts in the beginning, which are completely useless to me at this point. I have to take it really carefully with acceleration, because you can go like 300, 400 kilometers an hour. So there's a whole underwater section too, which I completely skipped by going for the propeller first. I'm gonna get those parts. So the category for just get all the parts is something I came up with myself, because as far as I know, nobody else runs this game. Yeah. Well, the idea to run this game in the first place came on AGDQ 2015, where I met Weatherton, which also may know him from the test block at the AGDQs. He tests Mario Kart 64, so check that out if you like that game. And he had this game with him at HDQ, and so we had a lot of fun to figure out how it worked and what we had to do. So when you play this for the first time, it's really a big exploration, like what the hell am I supposed to do? How do I get up this mountain? All this, but once you figure out the route, it really speeds up a lot. So the fastest submarine part is in this glass cage underwater, and you can actually get that by flying with the rocket from under it into the cage, which is not really visible at all how you can do that. So now I'm gonna put the submarine part on, because underwater travel is a lot faster with it. Here it is. So now I immediately have the fastest submarine, skipping all the in-between upgrades you can get. Alright. There's still quite a lot more parts to get in this beginning section. can actually see where parts are on the map, which are the blue dots that show up on the radar. Actually, I wanted to activate this warp, but I forgot. So it's not really that much use anymore, but I can get to this part faster. Accidentally entered it. I'm always confused wherever I get put when I get into those warps. It's always different, it seems. Alright, so now we are in this little section where you can get some fish tails and frog legs, which are nice in the beginning when you want to go underwater, but I already have the fastest submarine part, so I can just ignore it. Let's see. I think this is not the right one. Yeah, there's two parts, and one is in one section there's just an enemy which does those eggs, like baked eggs that are floating around. They can hurt you, but I don't think they can easily take parts away. I like that worm thing. You do get bounced around when you hit them. So I actually switched to the car mode, so I can sink better in the water. Alright. There's one more part under here too, which I can get now. Oh, where is it? Come on. A bit lost. Get it. Where am I? There it is. Yeah, so under this platform is also a part. There it is. Some, I think, turtle legs. So useful. This one. As you can see, there's still one part on the radar showing up. There. Yeah, so there's a hidden wall here. You can knock it away when you hit it. And there's a wheel there, but of course at this point these wheels are completely useless for the run. Alright, got that. Let's see. Yeah, now I can. There's a little pyramid building up here, where it has a bunch of parts that are really hard to find in your first playthrough. One of them is here. Yeah. There's a hidden part here too, and it's just really hard to find because the parts don't show up on the radar, because they are actually in this subsection you can enter here. It does some completely useless parts, some insect legs, or whatever it is. And it has this kind of trolley section with a lot of boosts. That boosts you all over the place. So actually the best way to get it, I found, is to just not get any of those boosts and try to maneuver around it. Alright, got it. Come back to the lobby. Now, actually on that ice slide I was on earlier in the run, there's still a lot of parts there that I haven't got yet. But of course the fastest way to get it is just flying around really fast. So there's parts you can get that are actually useful, that give you abilities, and there's also a lot of parts that are just decorations that you can collect. Alright. You can see all sort of in-between wings up here that you can get, but the propeller is the best one. one part that's kind of hard to get. It's in this building structure. Right. Alright, that should be it for the main world. But there in the sky world there's still a lot of stuff to do. But I do have this warp active to the sky world, so I can go there fast. And with my better rocket engine I can fly around here easily, collect all the stuff I want. So it was fun routing these games, figuring out the fastest ways to get all the parts. So I'm not sure if I actually have the fastest route by now, but the camera can be a problem. Alright, there's a part over there. It's better to go here first. So as you can see, once you get that fastest rocket, it's just collecting, getting all the parts. But there's actually some upgrades that I get a little later on that I need to have to get the last two parts. One of it is a balloon that makes me fly up even higher than this sky world. And the other is a star that maxes out your abilities for all the parts you have. Second Skyworld warp, which is useful. Alright. There's one part behind this building. Like some kind of blue plate or whatever it is for decoration. And there's a little underwater section in this warp. There's a few parts up here. Sparkles. So now I really need that submarine part to move around. There was a part here, but I lost it. There it is. Alright, so now it's actually the only part of the run where enemies can really be a pain. So if this worm eats away my submarine part, I have to go back to the menu. This is actually the fastest engine, but I don't really use it. Yeah, that sound is the enemy. You can see this flashing thing that warns me that it's going after me. Try to eat my parts.
Just like in Japanese, just play very slowly.
Alright, so now at this point I'm gonna take away one rocket. So in the one of the final sections of the game, there's a lot of vertical shafts that you have to move through, and if you get this forward thrust, then you can just you launch into the wall all over the place, and you can it's hard to control. This is also a bit more hard to control now with just one rocket, but I'll manage. Sort of underwater. As you can see, this is a very long vertical shaft. And they have a lot more of those without the water too that you have to go through. I'll just play like this. This looks a little bit like a dungeon, like you can collect stuff in it. Some enemies. There's some wind here. That makes it a bit hard to control. No, the hitbox is not helping me. Yeah, so now I can actually not see what the front is, so I don't know what is forward and what's backwards. That's what I get for not menuing and not making anything that actually looks nice in a Polygon studio. Yeah, so these are like kind of annoying sections. So if I would also go forward at this point, it would just be a hell to go through this. Alright. There's actually some quite hidden areas in this dungeon. One of them is coming up right here. It's you can see that it's a little bit darker color, so this is a fake wall. There's some few parts up here, including the balloon, which I need later on. There it is. One of the dangers of dropping down too fast is if you take too much impact damage, you can also lose parts from that. There's one part down here. Some more sparkles. Alright, got it. You can maybe tell just from looking how bad the control is for this.
What is world record for this?
Well, I'm the only one that plays it. my best time is 41:30, I think. don't think I can get that, but I can get maybe 45. I started running this like a month ago, but I discussed with Weatherton at the HDQ that it would be fun to do this at like a what the fuck Japan block, something like that. But I don't think either of us really went for it to actually route the game properly. But now for this event I did it. Oh man. Yeah, so I try to stay still. Yeah, made it. So here's the star. This is the last part of this dungeon. There's a Mario Polygon model as a stock that you can use, but it's not colored in, so it's a bit silly. Yeah, I need to put a balloon on now. So for a speedrun, it's kind of useless to take that one. But if you want to, you can make Mario, you can color him, and you can use that as your Polygon model in this test world. You can also make whatever you want yourself with a Polygon editor. Alright, so the last two parts are really, really crazy, and this is like the least exciting part maybe in any game. So it takes 4 minutes, yes, 4 minutes, flying up. And then and so you can play around with the camera a little bit, but other than that it's just useless. So actually you can see it on the stream. I need to get to 4,350 meters height. And at 4,350 meters, there's a warp point that warps me to a secret area. And there's a guy there that's jumping up and down. And it's actually the same guys that are in Mario Maker, so that's pretty funny. They reused them in that game. But it actually first showed up on this one. So for deciding the category for this, I opted of just skipping the last two parts because it's like a bit silly. But I went for it anyway because in the end it takes total 8 minutes to get both of them. Yeah, so it actually gets day and night too, a little bit. Yeah, you can see how long it takes on the stream. You can see the height. So I need 4,350. If you think this is bad, the next one is just as bad. Well, there's you may have noticed there's some bread boxes or some bread popping out in the overworld. If you talk to them, they give you hints about the world in Japanese. Yeah. So if you don't speak Japanese, then it can be hard to find this. But the hardest thing to find in this game is how to erase your save in the game. So that was a huge hurdle in being able to run this game. In the end, I found it how to erase the game. I've been searching in Japanese title of the game, and then I found some Japanese website, and with Google Translate, eventually I found that oh wow, it's actually possible to wipe your save. No, but I can show in the menu that I have everything. Yeah, you can tell it's hard. But this is like the only speedrun part that you could do a speedrun of. The others just like editing whatever model they want. We found them. I think think Weatherton found them first. We found him at HDQ, so I knew already that this was that I needed to do this. So this guy is actually also in Mario Maker. All right, now we need to gonna put the other rocket back on. So I still have my like really bad engine on it, but it doesn't matter. But actually, I'm gonna put the star on just to be sure. So just with the star, have my maximum driving capacity, maximum flying capacity. Everything's maxed out. It should make the next part take about 4 minutes too, and that is actually. It's maybe even crazier. It is instead of going like really far up, it's going really far out of the world. So usually I take this reverse camera. You can see the world behind you. So this takes about 4 minutes of flying like this. It's really that far away. There's not a warp point that you need to get to. You just need to go the distance, and then you ultimately warp. So what becomes almost inevitable with doing this is trying to move around. So I'm gonna try some like diving maneuvers, but it can actually waste time if you if you hit the ground or something. It's too otherwise it's too boring. When I go to like 2300, I can go with about 500 kilometers an hour. I can fly down. And it takes about 2 cycles of doing this, and then I'll get the warp. You can see I'm descending really fast now. It's like F-Zero. So if you go like, if you hit the ground, which happened many times, you can turn around. So with the reverse camera, you can kind of tell where you are, that you're flying away from the world. But at one point, it actually only turned me around, and I was flying for a very long time, flying back to the world. So that's like the worst. But I can see now that I'm flying away from it, so I'm still good. So that 41:30 run, that's my PB. I got the propeller first try, which is super lucky, but it saves a lot of time.
When is time?
When I get the last part, so it's almost time actually. There's actually some Majora's Mask music playing in this warp area. But it's like the music that plays when the moon is about to fall down. It should be almost there now, the warp. Yeah. When I get to this guy that's doing push-ups, it's time. And time.
Is that Polygon you can put on your 4427?
And so you can, well, if you listen carefully, you can hear some Majora's Mask music. Yeah. So I'll briefly show in the menu that I actually have all the parts. It would be kind of stupid if I didn't. So this is like all the useful parts you can get, so it's all filled in. Alright. And there's some decoration parts that you can collect, including these two guys. Alright, so I got everything, so I really got everything. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this game.